Hey everybody, how's it going? Live from New York, it's Saturday night. Actually, I gave you two lies right there. So today what I'd like to discuss is a right to repair bill that's 99% chance gonna fail in Minnesota, and some of the why things were done the way they were, and just recapping something that I discussed on this channel about 2.5 years ago. So recently in Washington State, I had good reason to believe that we were going to succeed with a bill there, and it failed at the last minute. A lot of politicians changed their minds and fell to the fear-mongering tactics of the opposition lobbyists. In Washington, it was a bit of a different story. So there, the lobbyists were saying, okay, listen, we'll be more on board with this bill, but you got to do us a favor. You got to make sure there's a provision in there that this won't apply to students, because students need their data protected from repair shops stealing information. I'm not in business because I want to get $200 to $400 a pop off of fixing your stuff. And what I want to do is I want to steal your book report on Catcher in the Rye. I want to steal your chemistry homework. That's how we really make money here at Rossman Repair Group. Anyway, they managed to just inject enough of this kind of confusing stuff into the conversation that caused politicians to go, wait, why do we have to protect student data? Why is that important? Why would you want this provision in there? Oh, this must be really important. They must be actually trying to steal user data. And then the bill went to nothing. So I failed in Washington State. In Maryland, I failed because C.T. Wilson was not happy with me saying that he didn't understand that the bill wasn't around source code, so he made up a lie that I made a racist video, which I went over in an older video. In Minnesota, we couldn't get it through the traditional means. So there were people that actually did want to vote yes on an agricultural right to repair bill. The reason that we were not able to do that is because there was a senator that would have blocked it. That's Senator Gary Dunks. Not kidding when I say this, and I'll leave a link down below to where you can read more about this, or you could hear me talk about it. The chair of consumer protection is a person that owned car dealerships and is skeptical about people fixing their own stuff. I'm not kidding. It's funny because a lot of you will always say that, listen, Lewis, your explanations to these politicians are far too confusing. You need to keep it simple. Say, you know how when you go to a car dealership, they'll say it's $2,000, and then you go down the street and an independent mechanic says it's $179? That argument doesn't work very well when the head of consumer protection that's blocking something from going to a vote owned car dealerships and doesn't like the concept of people fixing their own stuff. So that senator is still there. It is a very safe seat for him. So there was something that was done to try to get around the traditional process, and that didn't exactly go very well. And there's like one Hail Mary shot, but it's like less than 1% chance that something will get passed. So for anybody who's curious why it failed in Minnesota, that's why, or curious what happened in Washington State, it was a lot of fear-mongering over repair shop stealing student data. Because again, we're not in business to make $200 to $400 fixing your stuff. We're here because we really, really, really want to see, your thoughts on Macbeth. Like I need to steal your book report. That's of serious value to me and my employees. If you couldn't tell, by the way, that was sarcasm for them. But such is life. And again, for those wondering, well, if you want a bill in New York State, why bother elsewhere? The New York State bill excludes agricultural equipment and farm stuff. And just because I got mine does not mean that I'm done. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to try to help farmers get theirs. I am going to keep advocating for this in other states. In Missouri, we do still have a bill that is active, and there is a good chance of that one making its way through. Because again, just because I can get what I'm looking for, it doesn't mean that farmers can get what they're looking for, and I'm not done just because I got what I'm looking for. Technically, I haven't even gotten what I'm looking for yet, because that bill doesn't go into effect in New York State for consumer electronics until 2023, and then God knows that every manufacturer is going to try to fight that in court for several years. But I thought I'd give you a little bit of an update on what's going on. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna bullshit you. I have lost a lot more than I have won so far. I've actually lost considerably more than I've won so far, and it doesn't look like there is any relief there going into the future. But I've still got a lot of lobbying money left, and I still have a lot of money left to fund education campaigns, grassroots lobbying campaigns, all different types of stuff. And you can bet your ass that in the next several years, I will be ramping that up as much as humanly possible. And of course, a great thank you to my audience here, because again, without all of you, again, whether you're somebody who donated $1 or whether you're the dude that donated $1 million in one wire transfer, it is all incredibly appreciated. That's what allows me to continue doing this work. And it is admittedly also a part of why things are going a little bit better now than before. Again, like in Colorado, that whole wheelchair right to repair bill getting passed, when last year it kind of got laughed out of the legislature. A lot of that is because we were actually able to afford to write reports on how everything was going, do educational campaigns so people understand why it's an issue, hire a lobbyist that we otherwise couldn't have afforded to. The FTC coming out with certain documents, like, again, we spent over a year back and forth engaging with them, with somebody whose damn near full-time job it was to do that. Them coming out with reports in favor of right to repair. This type of stuff is stuff that really wouldn't have happened without all of you. And I just wanted to make sure that you knew how much myself and virtually anybody who wants to live in a world where you can fix what you own appreciates your generosity, your efforts, and everything. So just thank you very much. Again, whether you're the guy that gave $1 million in one go, or whether you're somebody that donated 25 cents. Like, it's incredibly appreciated. I'm going to continue to put in the work because I really don't want to see all the generosity of all of you go to waste. But yeah, at the same time, I'm just going to be honest with you. I've lost way more than I've won. And when I make a win, I'll come on YouTube and I'll talk about it. But when I take an L, I'll also come on YouTube and talk about it so you know where things stand. And again, if anybody wants to know what they could do in Minnesota, if you are one of Gary Dahm's constituents, can you get him to get the idea that people other than the dealer should be able to fix their stuff? And I get it. When it comes to cars, maybe his experience is that people that do their own car repairs screw things up and that the car dealership knows best. Maybe that actually is his personal experience. But that's not true for everything else. Like, God knows I have enough documentation on this channel of the Genius Bar telling people $400 when a battery is unplugged, or telling people that the charge port is hard soldered onto the phone when it's on a $5 flex cable, that Jessa Jones's toddler children can fix themselves. Like, it's not true. There are many fields where the manufacturer either doesn't offer repair or offers repair that is pretty much worse than what you would get from, I don't know, some dude that's sleeping under a tree over here if I would ask him to fix my own stuff. A little bit of engagement goes a long way. And in New York State, engagement was the difference between us getting laughed out of the legislature and us passing a bill 145-1. And I'm hoping that the same is true in other states. Maybe a little bit of engagement will get the good senator to change his mind here and be open to allowing this type of bill for a floor vote next year, because it would have gone for a floor vote in 2020 and it probably would have been a yes, and a lot of farmers really would have benefited from that in his home state. But such is life. So I will see you all in another video, and as always, I hope you learned something. Bye now.